Life is unpredictable. But sometimes people get away with things so ridiculous that even fate is shocked. Today, I'll tell you about the 24 winners of the Darwin Award, an award given to those who have eliminated themselves from the human gene pool in the stupidest way possible. If you've heard of these cases, be sure to comment below the video. Ready? Let's go. Testing the body armor on himself. Our first hero is a security officer who decides to test the body armor. But why use a dummy when you can test it on yourself? He asked a friend to shoot him. Bottom line, the vest failed. The experiment succeeded, but only for a Darwin Award nomination. A car with rocket boosters. Some people like speed. Well, you can quickly hit the subscribe button. It's a big motivator for the author. But this guy from Arizona decided to take it to the next level. He attached rocket boosters to his Chevy Impala and stepped on the gas. The car accelerated to unbelievable speeds, took off, and crashed into a cliff. Had he survived, it could have been the greatest motorsports discovery ever. But no, ant farm explosion. In Brazil, a man hated ants so much that he decided to destroy them in a big way. He filled an anthill with gasoline and set it on fire. The result? An explosion so powerful it literally blew him apart. The ants, by the way, probably survived. Russian roulette with a semi-automatic pistol. A group of tipsy friends decided to play Russian roulette. The problem is that they didn't use a revolver, but a semi-automatic pistol. The difference? It feeds the cartridge into the barrel by itself. One of the players pulled the trigger and instantly became the winner of the Darwin Award. Curious grenade researcher. In Ukraine, a man found an old grenade. He was so interested that he decided to study it from the inside. The logical step? Pulling the pin, of course. The outcome is predictable. He got a Darwin Award, and the neighbors got free fireworks. A hunter and a self-defense boar. This hunter was sure he had shot a wild boar and decided to take cool selfies with it. Except that the animal suddenly came to its senses and did not appreciate the photo shoot. As a result, the hunter found himself in the role of a victim. Boar, 1, man, 0 surprise candle. One guy decided to save a little money on candles, and instead of a wick, he put a firecracker in it. When he lit it in the bathtub, the effect was impressive for the audience. The grief-stricken inventor himself didn't live through his own little trick. A burglar and a fireplace. This burglar decided to break into the house through the chimney. However, the owners were unaware of his plan and simply lit the fireplace. By the time they heard screams from the chimney, it was too late. He was literally burned alive. Electric showers on power lines. A man in France decided that a high-voltage power line pole was a great place to take a shit. Problem is, electricity and liquid are a bad combination. The result is a lightning strike and another Darwin Award winner, a ringing tragedy. A customer at a beer hall in Hamburg had a cell phone that kept ringing with a very unpleasant sound. Other customers repeatedly asked him to turn off the device, but he did not respond to the requests. Finally, the most nervous of the visitors killed the stubborn one with a beer bottle and surrendered to the police. In the excitement, a young gymnast was jumping on a couch during her 17th birthday party. After getting into the excitement, she flew out the window from the 6th floor. Phantasmagoria. A 34-year-old man was found dead in the basement of his home. He was dressed, to put it mildly, strangely. A pleated skirt, a white bra, leather shoes, and a woman's wig. On his head was a gas mask connected by a hose to his anus, which was the cause of his suffocation. The Tamagotchi was hungry. A young French woman lost control of her car and crashed into a tree. The passenger was seriously injured. The driver died. Her attention was distracted by a key fob Tamagotchi, which suddenly squeaked, demanding food. By pressing the right buttons, the lady saved the toy's life, but parted with her own. Literally, freaked out Santiago Alvarado decided to rob a small bike store. Since it was dark and he was using his hands to help himself through the roof, a long flashlight had to be clamped in his mouth. This light was the cause of death when the awkward robber fell face down. An erotic tragedy. 4 people were taken to the hospital at the same time. Shelley Mueller with head injuries, Tim Vegas with a mild concussion, Brian Corcoran with serious gum damage, and Pamela Klesick missing 2 fingers on her right hand. Mueller drove her husband to work and showed him her breasts for a second as she said goodbye, in addition to kissing him. Tim Vegas, the driver of a passing cab, saw this. Enthralled by the sight, he lost control and drove into the hospital building where dentist Pamela Klesick was examining Corcoran's mouth. With a violent jolt, the doctor jumped and struck the patient's gums with the instrument. In shock, Corcoran abruptly locked his jaws together, biting off 2 of Klesick's fingers. Mueller took a shard of building on her head. The anus bell rang. Prosecutor Antonio Mendoza confirmed an old truth. You can laugh at yourself in any situation. After slipping in the bathroom on the tiles, he sat on a cell phone, which was brought there and put in an upright position by his dog. The operation to retrieve the phone from his anus lasted as long as 3 hours because the lid of the device had opened. During the operation, the phone rang several times and the victim made such jokes about it that the doctors and nurses were laughing. By the end of it, they thought they'd find an answering machine in there too. Vietnam War. Tu Nguyen, a 21-year-old Vietnamese man, decided to brag about the explosives he found from the Vietnam War. The explosive was 6 centimeters long and 8 centimeters in diameter, with 2 wires sticking out. Because it was old and rusty, Nguyen bet that it wouldn't go off. The Vietnamese put the explosive in his mouth and asked his friends to stick the wires into a 220-volt outlet. Nguyen didn't have time to consider that even if he was right, a 220-volt blow to the mouth could itself be fatal. The explosives, however, worked properly. According to police, the blast tore off his jaw and tore his cheeks. He died on the way to the hospital. Ivory death. A certain Pravat decided to have some fun with 5 elephants chained to a Buddhist temple in India. While the elephant's owner was inside, Pravat, a 50-year-old rubber tapper, presented one of the elephants with a sugar cane, then yanked it away, then gave it again, then yanked it away again, and so on several times. Pravat was having a lot of fun, but the elephant soon got bored. For the last time, the elephant stabbed Pravat through the chest with 1 tusk. Pravat died on the way to the hospital. The elephant got his cane. Watch out for the snake. An Alabama man died from a rattlesnake bite. He and a friend were playing catcher, catching a baseball in a glove, using a snake as a ball. On board 3 Brazilians were flying in a light private jet at a low altitude. When another plane approached them, they decided to all show their asses to its passengers together, but lost control of their plane and crashed. They were all found dead in the wreckage with their pants down to their ankles. A flammable mixture. A young Canadian, thinking how he could get drunk cheaper because he had no money, mixed gasoline with milk. The mixture made him vomit, and he found no better place to vomit than a burning fireplace. As a result of the explosion and fire, which burned the whole house, he and his sister died. Checking fuel with a lighter. And lastly, a classic. A man suspected that his gas tank was low on fuel and decided to check. With a lighter! How did he miss the fact that gasoline is flammable? It's a mystery. But it's now officially on the list of most ridiculous deaths. These are such strange, ridiculous, and sometimes even comical ways to pass away. Remember, stupidity is a truly deadly thing. Write in the comments which story surprised you the most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss new crazy stories. See you soon.